So on an emotional level, was actually my first motivation to want to partake in the Sookshma healing methods. And so emotionally, I was actually with the children, with 3 kids, and lack of sleep and that, I was always, on fire. I would get angry easily. I would yell. My husband was always like, "Why are you yelling at the kids?" I'm like, "Because I can't handle it." And my triggers, oh my goodness, there was some because I know about psychology, and there's a certain level of things that are to do with the situation. So say if there's a spill, or siblings hitting each other, or not listening and not getting ready, and you have to run out the house and get somewhere on time. So those are just like the typical frustrations. But I noticed my frustration would go to like a roaring level of like mad, and I'd be like screaming and stuff like that, and it would continue. So I started to realize there's something deeper that needs to be healed from like my past, and my dad leaving and those kinds of things that I never really addressed. So that was my first motivation, was just to like calm down in those situations, know all this, because I know all this stuff about how to treat children, especially with like attachment parenting and all of these great philosophical, ideological ways of being a great parent, but how to actually practice it when your own emotions get triggered. So then that was my biggest motivation, was just how to calm myself enough so I can have that space between the stimulus, like whatever they did, and my reaction. And that's the biggest thing I noticed, is the shift. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm able to actually hum to myself. Like they're at me, I want this, and they're very good negotiators, my children. They're persistent, so as I'm in the kitchen trying to get breakfast and lunch ready for school and things like that, and they're like, I want this, I want that, and play with me. So I'd just be like, in my head. And that was just like so powerful, just to like calm, and Emma's voice would just kind of come, and the self-love stuff would come. And I know I've been teaching people about self-love forever, and just like look in the mirror and give yourself that kind of love, but then it would just be a bit more spontaneous, and it would just happen closer and closer to the time that I needed it to happen, which was amazing to me, because I would catch my reflection in the mirror the window across the sink, and I'd be like, it's okay, doing great, and I just like give myself this little pep talk to keep me going, and it would help me, see the humor in what they're doing, and then start to actually really, as I went further and further with the meditations, I start to feel the blessings that are our family. Like we always feel that blessing, but in the moments of frustration is what I really wanted it to kind of merge, to be there when they're, at me, and I'm feeling low on my own resources, like my own energy is low, and lack of sleep, and not having had breakfast yet, and all of that, and just be able to like realize this is a moment in time that is so precious to us. And so that's what I noticed, was a shift, that I was able to catch myself and control the emotion, switch it from that negative like downward spiral that I would go to more just staying at peace and calm, and sort of more rational about, what am I doing here, and what's my role, and what's their role, and not getting as triggered. Of course, I would still get triggered, but the frequency went down hugely, probably from like 10 times a day to maybe once every day or every other day. So it was actually really good. The other thing emotionally for my husband was always, I was always being seeking. Like I would always tell him, I'm like, you need to nurture me so that I can nurture the kids, and I would just be so resentful that why are you not there for me? Why you're not, giving me all the, encouraging talk and telling me how amazing I am and how beautiful I am and all these things that you used to do. Now I needed the most, and massages and like those kinds of things. And of course he didn't have it because he's sleep deprived and stressed out and stuff like that too, and he's in the soup. So I realized I need to do that for myself. I need to fill up my own cup instead of have him fill up my cup so that I can be there for the kids. I start to rely on myself more without the bitterness. I'd be so bitter about you're not supposed to just abandon me right now about when I need you emotionally, right? But with more like an understanding, like empathy, like I'd have compassion for him and an understanding of our family situation, and then be like, you know what, I went on walks, so I'd be like, you know what, I would tell myself all the things. You're doing great. You're an amazing mom. Even though you're so tired, you're doing this and this for the kids. You love them so much, and you love our family. You're great. I would just give myself the stuff that I wanted to hear from my husband, and then it actually, impact me. And I'd make the time to go for a walk, even if it was like dinner time and everything was chaotic. I'd be like, you know what? I need 20 minutes. I'd just go for a walk, and I would not feel bad. I'd usually feel guilty and just keep giving, and to the point where I was just run dry and bitter and resentful and not a happy person to be around. So I started just doing the things that, putting it into practice more and more, and being more aware before I went to that really ugly place. I feel like, nope, I need to do this self-care in practice. So that's, and I started relying on him to love me less, because I'm like, I realize if I love myself, then everybody around me will reflect that love. If I'm critical of myself, he was reflecting my self-criticism was coming from him, because I was feeling it on the inside, feeling I'm not good enough, I don't deserve to be loved, I'm not worthy of this. And I just, the way that I was a stranger to Sunita Amma, and the way she just lifted my spirits and saw so much potential in me. I'm like, it's kind of hard to believe still. I'm like, really? You think what? You think all this stuff in me, little old me that was struggling with 3 children, you think I could do these great things in this world? And it's just, that was another huge experience. And I'm like, well, I wish I would say that to her. I'm like, I wish I could see myself the way you see me, And I think it's starting to happen a little bit, and I'm starting to kind of be like, maybe there are. And I've been attracting people who want to also work with me, who are, drawn to that, and I'm getting encouraging comments everywhere that I go, and it's not really solicited. I'm not asking, but they're like, you need to do this, you should do this, and I'm like, it's all kind of coming into line with what I believe in. So, because as a healer or wanting to work with families, I've always felt like a hypocrite. If I'm struggling with my own family, how am I going to go out and help other people? What do I know if I'm not figuring it out for myself, right? So that's becoming more like it's merging. So I'm starting to figure out what's working for me, and I feel even more motivated to go out and spread the word to other people that we need to heal ourselves first, no matter where we are in life, how old we are, what kind of family situation or life situation we have, and then we can, expect things or have things fall into place in life for us. So yeah, that's beautiful.
So something interesting that you said, before, yes, you read all this in psychology, at an intellectual level, but then the shift happens here. How do you think, what is the difference between that and then this?
When the shift happens, so I have always known, the theory the theory of how life is supposed to go, and how relationships are supposed to go, and intellectually, I would always intellectualize things. I've even gone to a therapist where they're like, you're basically cut off, you're not feeling anything, you're the talking head, and you're very cognitive, very much understand everything, and you talk about life experiences without the emotion. So this, I think, and I think what I've learned is that when there's childhood pain and things like that, we do a very good job of protecting ourselves from feeling that pain and going into it, because it's very scary to go and for me, a sense of loss of control. I've always said this even during my master's, where it was all about digging into yourself and do your own inner work before you become a therapist so others know yourself. I would always be like, I don't want to lose control. I don't want to go there and fall apart. I can't afford to fall apart. So that was my big fear, and then beside it, it's no, I need to love myself. I have to release this stuff. I can't be carrying around this big backpack of emotional stuff that's not processed, that's not released, and then expect life to go smooth. So it helped me have someone trust in me, see the light in me. That was really huge, to feel comfortable enough to go there, and then to be like, it's okay, tears are cleansing, and then I was able to when I had the conflict with my husband, instead of going and blaming him and attacking him, I started to actually try to sit with myself and be like, what is this all about? And in the storm of the anger and the pain and the tears and all that, I was able to start to feel the inner child, you know, the one that didn't feel loved and didn't feel seen, you know, and start to just connect with her as an adult and be like, you know, you are okay, you know, you are loved, and that kind of thing. So I started to kind of come down from my head into my heart and into the body, and then now I feel like initially, like there was a week break between my sessions with Amma because I got super sick, like congested, and then from the congestion I went to the emotional body. So it was like the core was like coming out. So I had this conversation with my dad, all this emotional stuff came out. I was like just feeling raw emotions all over the place, totally out of control with my children. I couldn't even stop myself from like being very aggravated. The congestion, the physical sinuses and all that were mucus and stuff that needed to detoxify, I guess. That all came out, and now what's left is sort of just like the surface muscular pain, physical pain that needs to happen. So I think it helped me kind of go from my logical mind, my rational, and try to put it into action on an experiential, emotional level. And the fear, I think, got reduced. The fear to go there, because I think we all have these like, you know, little perfect packages around our pain, and we rationalize it, we explain it away, we want to have that tough, you know, put together kind of person, especially for high functioning adults. We don't want to fall apart, and sometimes we do need to fall apart, and in order to heal that inner child, heal those wounds, so that they don't keep activating and reactivating, getting triggered in our day-to-day life. And that's when I realized my goal is to have whatever my reaction is match the situation and not go, you know, from the subconscious mind, all this extra stuff be added, right? So I wanted it to be proportionate, and I think that's what's going to happen is once you're healing that inner stuff, then it's not going to have so much power in your life, and then you get to sort of live in the moment and deal with life on life's terms, not the background stories that are constantly being replayed, and that you become mindful of that inner critic or whatever, self-doubter, self-sabotager, the one that procrastinates. All these things that happen is because of our inner background voice that is based on subconscious wounding, the child being wounded, and now it's not been resolved. But now as adults, we have the power to go there mindfully, compassionately embrace that inner child, give ourselves what we need, you know, so that we could heal. And I think this Sookshma, with the experience, it really helped open me up to that, you know, fearless place to go there. So I'm very grateful.